Okay, recording this video, it is 10:50 a.m. Chicago time, Friday 30th September 2011. It's been an interesting day, really kind of kept pretty range bound, but in some fairly wide kind of ranges, so the market's been moving backwards and forwards. I must admit, it does feel as if it's being kind of kept up a little bit. Remember, it's the end of the quarter, a lot of fund managers. I mean, the numbers are so bad this month, this quarter, that it just feels as if managers are trying to keep the numbers a little bit elevated today. But anyway, we're stuck in this range still. Better trend line just between these high and low kind of trend lines here, rising and falling. The high mark is kind of 1200 here, the low mark here is 1120. When just kind of sitting waiting for that kind of breakout, whichever way it's going to go. 40,500 tip bar chart. A few days ago we had end of trend exhaustion buying. We kind of topped out with a bearish divergence signal. We've been floating down. Yesterday's activity at the end of the day was quite extraordinary, the way we kind of bottomed and then had this kind of really pretty big rally into blue professional bars here on the 40,500 tip bar chart. Going one time frame down to the 13,000, you can see all of these blue professional bars coming in here into cyclical turn, Rambo pattern, and so on. Exhaustion buying, did feel pretty like a bit of a blow-off activity. And actually, on the 4,500 tip bar chart, it was nicely marked. This is today's open today, and you can see the range-bound activity that we've got at the moment. But that low during the day yesterday, kind of an hour before the close, was nicely marked. Pull back to end of trend on the 4,500 tip bar chart. We'd had our exhaustion selling. We've had our bullish divergence patterns kind of come in, bottomed there. Professional accumulation, bang, we just took off to the upside for a, I think it was like a 20-point rally. Quite extraordinary. I wasn't trading. I was done much earlier on in the day, but it was interesting to kind of see that. I'm going to tag on my day trades today, but there's two setups I want to talk about really kind of briefly. So I'm going to go to the 15,500 tip bar chart. The first one is just to mention the way I am using my indicators at the moment. I'm really focusing on the 1500 tip bar chart and trend changes being signaled on the 1500 tip bar chart. You might have noticed on my charts they're getting a little bit messy and kind of confused at the moment, but what I'm adding on, that's code that's not been released, but it's kind of just based on better momentum, is a couple of signals just for visual cues to help me on my charts. And they're these kind of dots that are being printed above and below the price lines, along with these kind of vertical lines. And the first one's a pro signal exits, these blue bars, which is exhaustion buying with a blue professional bar, or exhaustion selling and blue professional bars kind of coming close together, just to show that's the pro signal exit. And that's my first kind of cue to showing exhaustion, and then the bottoming process needs to happen after that. The second cue is the first bearish or bullish divergence signal after exhaustion buying, and that I print a little purple dot on charts here. And I've actually added these kind of vertical lines when you see that. Some of these vertical lines don't line up exactly with those purple bars. That's a glitch within TradeStation. You can't. You can only plot trend lines in TradeStation to the nearest minute, and so it goes back and it automatically puts this on the nearest minute bar instead of the nearest kind of second or tick chart or whatever tick bar kind of here. So that's just why that happens. It happens on a few charts. And then flush signals are also added on these kind of visual cues, and those are these yellow flush signals here, just like better momentum. The point to this is, so what I'm looking for in a change of trend is this kind of sequence that basically goes exhaustion, pro signal, kind of exit, exhaustion, then followed by a bearish divergence signal. And then after the bearish divergence signal, I'm looking for price exhaustion with end of trend. Most of these signals happen in terms of, you get an uptrend like this, you get that kind of blow-off activity, you get a weakening of that activity here and into end of trend. This particular move here, it kind of needed two weakenings, if you like. We passed up to end of trend with another kind of exhaustion signal here, and then bearish divergence a little bit later, and the market kind of sold off there. And so most of these kind of, sometimes the bottoming process takes a little bit longer. So you get the first clue here that we've got some kind of weakening of this trend, then I'm waiting for price to exhaust. We get another kind of cue here that process is happening, and then this market just took a little while to bottom, and we had to see a flush signal. But in terms of price, we didn't move much down past that initial kind of place. Flush signal, another exhaustion signal, finally another of these kind of visual cues, and then it kind of takes off to the upside. So that's what I'm using. But from time to time, I'd say 1 in 3, 1 in 4, you get a sequence where that happens at a where you've just moved to or just past a cyclical turning point. We had the open today that happened, and we had that couple of exhaustion, selling signals here, followed by a bullish divergence signal. When they happen like that, and that happened to be on a cyclical turning point on the 13,500 tip bar chart, which was here, so the highest time frame corresponding with a 1500 tip bar chart. When we have that kind of coming together, you can often get kind of a good reversal move in the other way, and it actually led into the Chicago PMI numbers that kind of came out at 840, 845 here. Thanks again, Howard. I missed the timing of that again. 841 was when the number was released to the subscribers. 845 is when the public get it. I was into a long trade here at 30Sep11, just at this retrace here after we'd had an amateur down bar. So we had this kind of sequence around a cyclical turning point. We had a test back down with an amateur down bar, kind of got in at the break of the high of that bar, and then that was just as the number was released, and it just went ballistic very quickly. It was taken out at my target within a minute or so, and we came into another kind of reversal. You can see at the cyclical turning point, kind of exhaustion, blow off volume, and then a bearish divergence signal right on the zero line. We kind of go the other way. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. That's the first kind of setup. You'll see it in the third trade I took today. The second one is a continuation move here, and this is another little entry that I took. It's the last trade I took of the day. You can see on the 1500 tip bar chart here, we've made a cyclical support at this point here. We know that the high had been made during the day. I think the high was around 1145, this kind of mark here. We were sitting underneath there. We'd had our exhaustion buying, flush signal and so on, but no blue professional bars here, and as that sequence kind of came in, we were mid-trend in terms of this turn on the better sine wave, and there was nothing to signal there that the professionals were taking profits at that point. And in fact, when you go down to the 500 tip bar chart, the signals that were coming in here, we'd had a little bit of blow-off activity here. We came into blue professional bars buying the lows here, and then we had this little retrace, which they had a little amateur bar come in here on that retrace, and then the professionals, two little blue professional bars on the 500 tip bar chart, bought that underneath that resistance level, bang, and we broke out here quickly to that kind of exhaustion signal here. Blue professional bars kind of come in on the 1500 tip bar chart, cyclical resistance, Rambo pattern, and the move ends. But that little move there was good for a little 4-point move. As we hit all of those stops and all of the, we got a little bit of a run, a real explosive little move as all of those cascading of those, triggering of those stops happened, bang, and that was exhaustion activity. But the reason for getting in at that trade was we had no signal that professionals were getting out kind of at a previous high. They were just waiting for those stops to be run, bang, got in, and the market reversed and went the other way for a downtrend move there. So I'll tag on those kind of day trades for today's activity. It was a good day for me, 13.25 points after 5 trades. Just really enjoying my trading today. I was going to stop after I'd reached my target kind of early on in the day, but two kind of setups presented themselves, and just wanted to jump on board of them. So hope you traded well today, and enjoy your weekend. Okay, just gone short 39.50, and maybe jumping the gun a bit, yeah, a little bit there. Saw an exhaustion buying signal on the 500 tip bar chart. We were coming up close to cyclical cross here on 500, and just put in a little squiggle there, which is kind of weird. Anyway, just checking my stops and targets. That little push-up Rambo pattern, so hopefully pull back in a downtrend will signal. The reason I'm going short is because we've got a trend. Trends are stronger than cycles, so the trend in the 500 tip bar chart should, there we go, pull back in a downtrend's gone off, and we've had a cross. Should be a stronger kind of move than just a cycle support on the 1500 tip bar chart. We're below 45 support on the 45, starting to run. Here we go, breaking the lows. So short from 39.50. Okay, end of trend on the 500 tip bar chart's just gone off. We had a blue professional bar kind of come in here. Not going to come out yet, just because we've not seen a exhaustion blue professional bar on the 1500 tip bar chart, or a bullish divergence really after this kind of sell down here, or an exhaustion selling. It's like the one we had previously was there. So we need to mirror this amount of selling from the pullback level. So we're heading down. Target's at 39.50, not too far away now. About 37 even. It'll probably go to the target, but the reason for getting out there, bullish divergence just came in on the 500 tip bar chart. A couple of blue professional bars here, 15 and the 45, and pro signal exit. It went to 36. It's looking for an extra half point on top of that, but didn't kind of go. It's early in the day anyway, so it's going to be volatile to start with, although looks like it might be just turning around and heading back down to 35s. It's out 37 for 2.5. Let's see if there's a re-entry. Quick note on one of the reasons it got out there was that was an amateur down bar just heading back into those lows. So that was kind of weak anyway, just a small point. Short 36 even. Just trying to re-enter there just because it was hanging around this Rambo pattern. That was me hanging around the lows of below cyclical support on the 500 or below support on these things. It's probably going to keep going. This was exhaustion selling on here, so we're going to have second cyclical turn after end of trend. Just thought this was kind of coming close in terms of running out of time for this cyclical cross to happen. So let's see. That's not great with a Rambo pattern. Okay, here we go. Broke 35.50 just got hit, which is the original target for 4. So see if I get lucky and it kind of keeps going. Rambo pattern on 15, which isn't good. Just came out 37.25. 1.25 point loss. Yeah, it's kind of going up now. Reason coming out there, bullish divergence came in on the 1500 tip bar chart. This potentially could be a reversal point on the corresponding highest time frame 13,500 tip bar chart. We've got cyclical support to come due, so this could be it wasn't really an end of trend here, but it was close. Those levels were close to making pullback to kind of dirty end of trend. So there's a risk after this exhaustion selling on this time frame. So let's see if there's a re-entry opportunity. Just gone along 37.25 and just got a little bit carried away there. Reason for going long. Oh, here we go. 8:40 a.m. we got Chicago PMI coming out. This last little push down into cyclical support on the 500 tip bar chart was an amateur down bar, 1500 tip bar chart here. So that was just testing down. The amateurs think it was going down, and it's reversed above the highs of that. Here we go. Alright, so going a bit wild. Got a data release out, so see if I can hold on. Well, just taken out 41.25. 8:42 a.m. Chicago PMI. Is this one that comes out early? That the data release is for the subscribers is a couple of minutes early. I think it is. Anyway, so there we go. Bingo. Explosive volume, blue professional bars, exhaustion buying, pro signal exit, all of those things taken out on my target at 41.25. Excellent. So 2.5 points. Winner first one, loss of 1.25 on the second, and 4 on the third. So that's 5.25 points. And it is 8:42 a.m. Pretty good. What's that? 12 minutes in, yeah. Short 38.50. A little bit early. And just decided to come back in just because I think we've got a little bit of a setup here. 1500 tip bar chart, this last move up. Yeah, I should be waiting for the cyclical cross on the 15, but just a little bit anxious here. We've overshot 500 tip bar charts, overshot it. Rambo patterns, blue professional bars kind of came in. And let's not run too much further, please. So 1500 tip bar chart, we had data release came out, bang, exhaustion buying into these highs, bearish divergence right on the zero line, cyclical resistance, bang. This last test up, amateur up bar, being led by the amateurs, so it's kind of suspect. So we need this kind of rising trend line to be broken, and then hopefully the support level will be broken on the downside. we'll get some kind of exhaustion selling on the downside, but still creeping up. I should really be waiting for this. So, and it's so volatile at the moment. It's getting darn close to my stop. So we just need it to lose it. So short 38.50. Alright, a couple of minutes later, got within a half point of my stop. Anyway, cyclical resistance kind of came in on the 1500. That's what I should have waited for, being right at this high. Anyway, so we've started a motor on the reverse side. Rainbow pattern on the way down, it's not great. Come into cyclical support here. No blue professional bars yet. They were all kind of getting out at the highs up there, and exhaustion selling on the downside. So we got this swing in the right direction. Targets at 34.50. I think that's very close to the low. What was it? Yep. So it's a good place. Exhaustion selling just kind of come in. No blue professional bars yet. It's really knocking around. But anyway, so let's. Here we go. Good. Breakthrough down again, please. 34.50. Just a minute later, and at the previous low, always going to get a little bit of a bounce here. Just a technical kind of point here is extreme selling, minus 9,000 on the 1500 tip bar chart. No blue professional bars. We've still got this. Okay, we come a little bit closer to the bottom of this move with a support area on the 15. It's bouncing a little bit. Wish I'd kind of come out here, but anyway, it's got to have another test down after that kind of extreme selling. Amateur bar at the highs, kind of coming back down again. Out at 34.50. Excellent. Looks like it might kind of keep going a little bit. Rambo pattern here, so this last move being led by the amateurs. I'll probably get a technical bounce off there. But that was, it was a pretty high reading on better momentum down here, but it didn't go off as an exhaustion selling signal. And no blue professional bars yet, so this is getting close to the 1120 type level. It's going to be an interesting day. But anyway, that is definitely enough for me. I got 5.25 on the first couple of trades, first three trades, and a 4 here when this setup kind of came in. Lousy entry. I was way too early. Should have been waiting for this kind of top to be made, the cyclical top to be made before getting in. But the direction was right based on exhaustion buying. So. Nice, 1, 2, 3, 4 trades, 9.25, long 43 even, and I don't know, just another setup. Just looking at it, and here's, just check that. Yep. Here's the reason for getting in. Cyclical supports coming on the 1500 tip bar chart, got a little bit of a ways to go. No blue professional bars this time around up here. We had some coming into a flush signal and so on, but there's still got a little bit more to run on the upside. Then we came in, amateur down bar here, and immediately professional stepped in, bang, just underneath the high for the day kind of thing. And there it goes, just running up to new highs. So we'll be playing this to the end of this sequence here. On the 1500 tip bar chart, it's kind of racing up quickly, hopefully with some kind of exhaustion buying. Here we go on the 500 tip bar chart. Well, the target's at 47. It's going to be pretty quick, and their blue professional bars kind of just come in on the 1500 tip exhaustion buying at 46. So we just need a little bit of a pop more, please. And when we get kind of bearish divergence, that'll be when to jump out. Let's see, 46. There we go, 47. Out for 4. And blue professional bar, there we go, bang, 8,000. It's not going to be an exhaustion buying signal against that kind of flush back here on 15, I'd have thought. But anyway, nice place to be out. We'll get some kind of cyclical resistance at some point up here. So that was nice. I think it's when new highs get broken, a whole bunch of stops gets run, all of a sudden you get, there we go, bearish divergence just come in. You get a whole bunch of like really quick activity like that. So that was well, I don't want to say too easy, but it was easy. Anyway, so 13.25. Definitely done.